Good evening, everybody. It's been a long time. It's been 1 week since I've seen you guys, and I missed all of you. I'm your host, David Monias, and we have our generous, awesome, super great grandmother, Karen, here. She's our co-host. Say hi.
Hi, welcome to Food is Medicine. We're glad to be back with you again. On behalf of the Food is Medicine crew, I want to apologize for our little cheese mix-up this week, but I'm glad we sorted it out. Thank you, everyone, for reaching out. Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, awesome. Two little things that we get started first. We always love acknowledging our land. We're on Treaty 1 territory, land of the Anishinaabe, Cree, and Ojibwe. It's just one of the things that we always like mentioning. We love our land and we always just like to make mention of it. Not too much other housekeeping rules today. If you have any questions or whatever, please raise your hand in the group chat or even chat. Karen will be taking care of that. And if you have questions, just feel free to speak up, and it's very casual and very awesome. And have fun. We'll get started. And first things first, I am probably gonna chop up my bacon here. Ooh, this one's not cutting, so I'm just gonna cut it on the top here. This is how I'd cut it at home. So of course, I always like to mention, ooh, there's a little spillage there. I always like to mention that I like to wash my table, and I'm definitely gonna have to again after working with raw bacon. So be careful how much spillage gets over the table. I'm just gonna chop it up into smaller bits because I am doing them into bits. You're gonna see that here. And then it's gonna be a little bit messy. I usually do mine a little bit colder, a little bit more stiffer, but again, defrosted is good. And we're gonna get that going over the stove. Ooh, it's very messy. But you can chop them up any kind of sizes. If you want big sizes, big, small sizes, that's perfect. Again, we're just gonna go for, we're gonna go for that nice and crispy look. And we're gonna be mixing this in with our homemade mac and cheese, which is today's recipe, if I haven't mentioned that already. Again, it's a little bit messy. Just chop them up finally. You can do it cleanly or messy like I am right now. Again, I'm just ripping them up and kind of making them into short pieces. They do tend to kind of like shrink a little bit. So see, this piece will be kind of maybe half size once it's done cooking. And we're just gonna go through. And I really want to stress how important it is to be careful where your fingers are. So my technique is generally kind of holding them like this and cutting them like that, essentially. I'm not sure how well that shows up on camera, but this way I'm not kind of like accidentally getting any fingers, because we don't want any fingers in our food. Not like that.
And two, if you are using an air fryer, you could always crumble the bacon after, because it's easier to cook long pieces in the air fryer.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. Yeah, I haven't tried that. I recently got an air fryer too, and I've been experimenting on what kind of foods I like sticking in it. But today I'm just kind of mix mashing them up. I just find it a little bit easier, and they kind of be the nice size that I need. Again, it's a little bit messy and it's a little bit weird looking, but it's fun. Again, you do have to wash your hands after setting all this stuff, right? It's always important when working with raw meat, whether it be chicken, bacon, pork, or anything like that. It all needs to be washed. And then you'll see me, well, maybe you won't see me. I'll probably do it off camera when Karen takes over and offers some teachings and just some general knowledge and banter. You'll see me cleaning up in the background. Oh, one small thing. I noticed we have some new faces. We do record these sessions and upload them. If any little ones are on camera, we will be putting a quick small emoji over their faces. And just kind of like that, just for the privacy of the child. We don't know how they feel about it in the future. And we know sometimes not everybody's comfortable with children being on camera. So we'll kind of do that just for your sake. And all episodes will be on our YouTube channel. You can look us up if you look up Food is Medicine, or even what is our YouTube? Oh, First Nations Family Advocate Office. If you look us up there, if you search for that, we'll do that. We're about at 70 subscribers. If we get 100, we get to actually customize our URL, so our fancy web page. And we're just really looking for that. And now that I have all mine chopped up, I'm gonna get over to my oven here. I'm gonna place this off to the side. And I'm just gonna chop them all, throw them all in there. I'm gonna get going straight into it. And of course, before I get anything started, I'm not gonna touch anything because I don't want any secondhand contamination. I'm gonna throw this in the sink and I'm gonna quickly wash my hands.
Excellent. So while David is washing his hands and cleaning up the table, just want to let you know that prior to the start of our show, I had a nice little smudge with some prairie sage that our staff has harvested so that we could have that good start. Food is Medicine came about as a vision to create community connection time. With the pandemic, our office has been closed now since middle of March last year. So we really miss all of you. We miss having you come into our office for our workshops. We miss holding your babies and getting that chance to be in your presence. So this helps us to have that community connection while we're learning some new skills, sharing some time together, having that nutrition. And like I always made mac and cheese from a box. So this is new to me and I'm gonna try it out this weekend. So learning those new skills.
Awesome, awesome. And with that said, I'm going to be setting, oh, maybe I'll go back over here. Oh, so I'll be setting my my pan to medium hot or medium high, and we're just going to let that sit. We're going to get that ready. In the meantime, we're going to be switching back over here. I'm just going to let that get going because it'll take a moment. In the meantime, I do have some vegetables chopped. I have some onions here. I have fresh onions. We did provide those. I'm not sure how well this is coming up on our new lighting. Maybe I have to bring it up a little bit closer. You can see some onions.
That's good.
I also prepared some fresh garlic, but I'm gonna, in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that to kind of get going, I am also just gonna chop up some here. I have some fresher ones here. I'm not sure how well that comes up on the camera again, but I'm just going to chop that up so I can show you. Again, I did chop it up because I know a lot of families are working ahead of me because they have 3 or 4 helpers in the home. I am just one person here, so I did some pre-chopping. And we're just going to I just generally chop them very finely, and it could just be as small as you want, big as you want. This will be going in later and it'll be cooked with the noodles. And if you're not a big fan of like the fresh onions, you can also use onion powder, which would be a suitable substitute. And is actually what the recipe actually calls for, but we wanted to try something different and use fresh products just to kind of give us a little bit more time together. And honestly, using some fresh products doesn't hurt. It tends to taste really great. And again, we're just going to be chopping them up pretty finely, so you won't notice them as much in the mac and cheese sauce. And again, it's just small. And when you're working with like different things like this, again, just that having your hand like this so you don't cut your fingers is really important. It's just the general technique. And again, I'm just taking my time. And one of the better ways of holding your knife is having your finger right there. Just kind of give that power and control and that dexterity, right? If you are a little one, maybe do consider asking a parent for help. And yeah, we're just gonna toss this right into our bowl right here. Oh, lost a few here, but that's okay. That is very much okay. And I'm just gonna get 1 garlic clove just because I did chop up 2 pretty hearty ones. And again, I'm just gonna try to get these as thin as I can. I'm not sure how well you can see that on camera. I'm gonna go pull up Goodfellas style and kind of get it really thin. You ever see that movie where the guy's like sitting there with a little blade and he's cutting it like just very so gently so it emulsify as soon as it hit like his soup. That's the kind of feel we're going for today. And of course, if anybody has any questions, do ask right now. Again, I did mention earlier, if you weren't a big fan of garlic, you could use garlic powder. I have that at home and I have used it at home, but today I'm going to try fresh garlic because I'm just a big fan of it.
That was one of the questions that came into the chat, was that how do we prepare it, and what are we using that instead of the powder? So you see that David is chopping it up. As he said, if you would rather not have the fresh, you could save it for something else. And yeah, if you have the powder on hand, you could use that instead.
Hi, can I just say something about chopping up garlic?
Go for it.
I got this little thing. It
Oh, do you have a
actually-
garlic press?
Yeah, I got it for my kids because they love to cook too. See, there's
Wow.
like a little holes in there, and you just press on the garlic and it comes out through here.
Oh, that's lovely.
Nice.
I got to get me one of those. I think I have one of the kinds that kind of like come out like a kind of almost like a nutcracker, but I always tend to lose the pieces to those. So this is why I'm kind of doing chopping up today. This is my punishment.
Nice. Oh yes, others are using their garlic presses as well, and I have one like you have that looks like the nutcracker. But
Yeah.
lately I've been getting granulated garlic in a bag.
Oh. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing a lot at home too.
Catherine, you were on mute.
I'm on mute.
Catherine,
Oh,
you're still on mute, Catherine?
Can you hear
Yep.
me?
Yes.
yes,
I was just
can.
saying I use my grater sometimes, or I'll just chop it up. But chopping it up, holy smokes! I can't believe how sticky garlic is.
Oh yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? It just kind of
If
gets
you
on your
need
fingers a
glue,
little bit.
use some garlic.
And then you smell like garlic for 3 weeks.
I know, like your hands will just smell like it. I'll be kind
Well,
of like
thank you
just like
guys for the
rubbing my nose, and I'll be like,
Glad you could join.
I heard a tip about the garlic smell on your hands. I've heard that if you rub your hand on the your faucet, that apparently it gets rid of the smell.
weird.
Oh, the stainless steel.
Yes.
I should try that.
Good tip. Thank you.
So I'm probably gonna do that today.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do the exact same thing, to be honest. Well, anyways, I do have all my pieces here. I'm gonna bring it up closer to the camera so the light exposure kind of does it. I have a good amount. You could use less if depending on how you feel. The bulk of the flavor will technically come from a lot of the cheese, but this is just out there. I like that extra flavor. And we're gonna go check up on our bacon. And thank you for all the wonderful tips, everybody. I'm just gonna grab myself one plate. Chris always likes to make fun of me for all the stuff that I forget to grab. That's my cameraman. Hello?
Oh. Who's that? Oh, Tamara, you need to mute, please. There we
no.
go. Thank you. Alicia says she uses chopped garlic from a jar. So I know that Sobeys has that in their fresh produce section.
Oh, really?
Oh, and Jennifer suggests using coffee grounds. They're supposed to be good to absorb and neutralize that garlic smell on our hands. So good tip.
Really? Fortunately, I like that smell.
Mhm.
So I don't mind it too much. Our stuff is cooking and it's kind of getting that grease, so it's quite nice. But I'm still gonna cook it a little bit more. I'm gonna actually put it on a higher heat to kind of get it going. But yeah, we're kind of in the waiting game, to be honest. How is everybody doing? I've been missing you all.
Do you think we could do a check-in with some of the kitchens, some of the families?
Heck yeah, let's do that. So I know some people like to go ahead and they're raring to go.
And Amy, yes, you can make this mac and cheese in the oven. Pinterest has a lot of really amazing recipes. This one is the stovetop, and we suggested to broil the breadcrumbs at the end, but go to Pinterest and check it out. There's some modifications I think you need to make, and just double check on the non-dairy cheese for your family and how that would work in the recipe, okay?
Mhm. So do you
And
want to check in on some families here?
sure, can we go to Jordan?
Hi, Jordan. You're gonna be on camera. Hello, how are you guys?
Oh, baby, so
Oh,
cute.
baby.
Look how much she's grown.
Oh my goodness, so sweet. My heart.
Awesome. You guys are doing okay? Thumbs up.
Loving the family time.
So nice
else
to
do we-
see you.
Who are we picking on next?
Pamela.
Pamela, where are you? There we go. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Pam. How's it going?
Hey guys, it's going good.
Excellent. Any questions? Any tips?
Nope, no questions. I lost my little cookware for today. It's kind of not doing well. But
Oh.
David with the air fryer. My husband has done homemade burgers in them, and they're amazing. Now I can help you.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try some more air fry recipes.
Yeah,
Lately I've been putting a lot of my potatoes in a lot of them and kind of just air frying them that way. Whether that be like fries or hash browns.
Right.
The hash brown patties in the air fryer are better than McDonald's.
Mm.
There's Laura. Looks like your bacon's cooking. How's it going?
Oh, I don't think she hears us.
Oh, she's
Okay.
right
That's
there.
okay.
I'm
She's
just trying to
probably.
pull up the bacon apart. I'm using my knife. I tried to use my finger, but I burnt it.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
You gotta be careful. I want to quickly check up on this while we check in with families. Feel free to mute me.
Hi, Eva. Are you cooking along?
Hi. Yeah, Bishop, come and say hi. I have my little girl here with me. She's
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
yeah, we're making we got the bacon on. So it's right there. And yeah, I have my onions here and the garlic. And I have one tip to share with you. My late dad told me what, like, for the onions, like, you know, that for it to not burn your eyes.
Yeah.
He told me like, you know, the potato, like he said it's an eye. He calls it the eye. He said to cut that eye out and then put it right at the tip of the knife. And while you're cutting your onion, he said that absorbs the I guess the onion smell.
Wow.
So that's what I didn't, yeah,
I'll have
yeah,
to try
that's
that
what
one.
he told me, yeah, but thank you.
Thanks, Eva. Great tip.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that one this weekend when I'm making potatoes and onions.
Can
Hey,
we
Lillian.
keep going? Hi, Lily.
Hi. I'm doing good. One thing I kind of made a mistake on is letting the water thicken, but it did end up working out. It's just in the oven broiling right now.
Okay,
nice.
awesome.
Kind of
Thank
oven.
you.
And I see you're acknowledging the Day of Remembrance for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. So thank you for that.
Mhm. Thank you for that, by the way. I saw a few of my neighbors doing it too, and it really touched my heart. Anyways, I think I'm gonna get, if we check through most of the families, have we? Is there
Um,
anybody else that wants to show? It's up to you guys. It's optional.
This is ours. Mason.
Where is that? I gotta find you on our finder here.
Where are you?
Ashley.
Okay.
Ashley.
Come, Mace.
What?
See, we're
Oh,
just
there you
doing
go. There we found you. Ooh, you're
Wow.
already.
macaroni, and then there's my son that's helping.
Hi.
Heyo.
Oh my
Oh, this little
goodness.
baby.
She's just watching us.
Probably
yeah.
looking. What are you guys doing?
We got our bacon chopped up and cooked ready,
That's
Excellent.
awesome.
and we're just waiting for the macaroni.
Yeah, it's the same boat I'm in. Just waiting. Might even turn it up a little bit higher, but I don't want the
Yeah, and we
bacon to
have
kind of sizzle me.
breadcrumbs that we're gonna use as well.
Oh, good. I love that floor.
Just gonna let this sit for a bit. Again, it's just like a lot of the waiting game. Karen, did you have any stories or anything to kind of share while we kind of wait for our bacon to kind of crisp up?
Well, oh, look at
Oh,
that. Looks
that's
good,
so-
Alicia.
I know.
Wow.
I'm jealous.
Well, I was,
That's the vegan one. My little
okay.
son has allergies, so I made theirs first, and I forgot to sprinkle the breadcrumbs on, but I'm gonna do that now. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, I was talking a little bit about how mac and cheese, I would make it from a box, right? So learning these new skills is really fun and interesting. And through this process of food as medicine, even as a grandmother and, looking after my family and cooking almost every day, expanding these skills is really awesome. The fish tacos we made, the pico de gallo we made, all the awesome techniques that David is showing us and that Jen showed us that one week has been really awesome. So my birthday's in a couple days, so I've been really reflecting on gratitude and where I'm at in my life. And I just wanted to say again, thank you for the opportunity to be part of Food as Medicine. It's really enhanced my life. And especially during these COVID times, it's really been good for my mental health. So that's what I wanted to share about today. Jordan is asking, should I temper the milk? I don't know. I don't know what that means. David, any idea? You're on mute.
I guess I'm on mute. That's okay. I was making a big noise over here and I just didn't want to interrupt. The best thing I could say, I'm not entirely sure what you mean by temper. You can clarify in the chat and I can ask. Oh, warming it up. You could, honestly. It probably would help, to be honest. Like if you just like heat it up in the microwave, but honestly, it's going to be heating up there and it's like that pan's actually going to be quite warm and it's going to get warm pretty quickly. I imagine it might shave off a few minutes, but essentially you're just going to be kind of like, without getting too farther into the steps, we're going to be essentially having some of that oil there or the grease from there, some flour and some of the milk and water mixed together. And that combination is going to be kind of like the sauce that kind of makes this macaroni like mac and cheese. If you ever cooked, I think sidekicks, it's quite similar to that, where it's kind of like you're adding that milk and all this other stuff there. And you kind of just let it sit and kind of soak up in there and kind of make that sauce itself. Honestly, you could, you couldn't, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be adding it in cold today. But really, realistically, if you want to give it a shot, try it. Let me know how it goes. Especially if you're ahead of me, it just makes me really happy to see people kind of doing stuff with us. Hope that answered your question up quite a bit there. I'm going to check on the bacon. Oh, it's starting to look like it's crisping up, which is nice. Exactly how I want it. Might be a little bit noisy, so do mute me if anybody's chatting with us.
So we had verification that 16 ounces of macaroni is 2 cups. So that's about half the package. If you have a 900-gram package, it'll be a little bit less than 2 cups because 2 cups is 500 grams. So thank you for that clarification, Kathleen. Oh, Lily, that looks fantastic.
Oh, I'm gonna come look.
Thank you. I'm really excited to eat it.
Okay, go back to that.
Woo, that
Yeah.
looks lovely. Oh my god. Oh my god. What the heck? That's so lovely.
We've got some wows and looks good for you, Lily.
It's starting to look better than mine for sure.
And you know, I think we could probably use different proteins for this recipe also. You
Yeah.
could use
I would definitely say so. Like if you wanted to substitute for chicken or anything like that, you definitely could. Bacon's definitely the go-to for me. I just when I made it that one time over the weekend, just as a practice run, it was just so savory. And I think my bacon's kind of getting at that point where I would drain it into a thing here. Like it's quite cooked and it's crispy on a lot of ways. I don't see any parts that look undercooked. Like I've been mixing it up in here. It's all getting crispy and bacony. Maybe I'll go for all the way to high and just kind of get it there that last couple seconds, and then we'll switch over to the last piece here, which is just getting all that ready. So I'm going to start taking some of this bacon out of here, and I'm using a spatula that can has the holes in it, so I can lift it up. And I'm placing them into a bowl with some napkins in it. I had to use napkins because I didn't have paper towels handy. And we're just doing that to kind of soak up some of that extra grease there that comes off of it. That's generally what I like to do for my bacon. And I'm making sure I wear my apron today just because I really didn't want no bacon grease on my t-shirts. I'm not sure about you, but I have like a notorious I'm very notorious for getting my t-shirts greasy somehow. Ooh, and then we're getting that bacon out of there, placing it right into our bowl here. And if there's a few pieces of it left in there, that's okay. You know, it's all just gonna add to it. And I'm just gonna lower my heat just quite a bit here while I kind of get the flour ready. And I think our recipe calls for, what was it here? It says 2 tablespoons of flour. Pardon me while I grab one of those.
While you're measuring out the flour, we had a suggestion from Jennifer to use some white navy beans as a protein and mix it right into the cheese sauce. So that adds a vegan flavor to it, which is totally awesome.
Oh, actually, you know what? I actually have a really good idea for that. And I forgot to mention it earlier, is that a buddy of mine, we used to play football together. And I'm just putting 2 tablespoons here. And if you want, you could just use actual tablespoons. And you're just going to be kind of mixing that together. You're just going to place that in there and you're going to mix it well. But the one thing I was actually getting into was actually kind of steaming some broccoli, right? And putting like a fried egg on top of it. And that could even be with like KD mac sauce, or not mac sauce, mac and cheese. And that is so wonderful and delicious. Just like steamed broccoli and some eggs, fried eggs, like over hard or even over like medium.
That sounds great.
That is lovely stuff there. So that's another option for proteins there. Again, I did get some powder on my element here, and I'm just going to quickly wipe it off. We don't want too much flour there. And I'm just going to quickly add our water, our milk and our water.
So you're doing 2.5 cups water
2.5.
and, yep, 2.5
did you want-
water.
2.5 cups water.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. You're my best friend telling me all this so I don't have to look it up. And we're just
And
gonna
then-
mix it in there. Ooh, you hear that?
Nice. And then while you're getting the roux ready,
We're just gonna make sure we whisk that stuff together. I did have to kind of take a second there, so we're gonna remix it together. It doesn't look great now, but it will taste great later, I promise. And then how much milk are we adding there?
the whole liter, 4 cups.
4
This.
liters.
A nice little
So-
layer. Okay. This,
Pardon?
Sorry.
No worries, it happens. So again, if you didn't hear that, that's gonna be 1 full liter, correct, Karen?
Yes, 4 cups.
Awesome. So we're just gonna pour it all in there. Ooh, maybe not as messy as I am.
And
And if you
Ashley,
are dealing with lactose intolerant folks, you can lower this and kind of up the water. In my practice run, when I did with my roommates, I did actually opt for going for 2 cups of milk and then a lot of water, or you can substitute, like lactose-free milk, and we're just kind of getting that going right there. We're gonna bring that back up to medium high.
excellent. So Eva had a question. Yes, you put the flour in the pan that had the bacon in it and use the bacon grease as the start of your roux for the water.
Exactly. And this is our
Not
exactly
sure if you guys want to see, but we're just putting it in the oven now. We did our macaroni and stuff.
Yeah, did you want to show it? I would love to see it.
Yeah. And you just got to,
Let's go on.
there you go. Just go up to
Yep.
it.
And there's
Wow.
Ashley's family. Wow.
That looks yummy. Scrums
we
are
upped
yummy.
the size a bit because we're a bigger family, so we put a little more milk and stuff, to more noodles.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I'm really glad. That's awesome.
Great
All right.
job.
Okay. You
And
can turn it off now.
I'm just gonna bring it back up to here. We are gonna be putting our garlic and our onions in here. And you can toss them all in right now. Be careful of that. We're gonna be bringing this up to a simmer basically. And we're also gonna be adding in our half package of macaroni, if you're following along. Oh, we're just gonna pop that in there. That's gonna add that flavor. And we're gonna grab our macaroni, our elbow macaroni. I'm sure you could use something else. I'm not sure if you would want to use like pasta for like like lasagna or anything like that, but this is a great way to do it.
Mm.
Again, everybody's learning. I'm just gonna put that in there. We're gonna bring this up to a simmer. You might want to stir it in so it's not just all kind of like half and half of vegetables and half of macaroni. And again, because mine is cold, it's going to take a moment to kind of get cool. So I'm going to bring it up in temperature just a little bit more and get that simmering going. And I'm going to probably measure out my paprika now. I think we called for 1 half teaspoon. Isn't that correct?
Yes, it's half.
Got some there. I'm not sure if anybody caught that, but don't at me. I spilled some extra flour on the table there, not knowing that there was a whole bunch in my tablespoons here. And we're just gonna mix a tiny bit in here. I'm gonna add a little bit more, just kind of get it in there. We're gonna mix that in well.
And your salt and pepper.
Yes, and my salt and pepper. And I'm actually gonna use seasoning salt and a little just normal pepper. And this one, I'm just gonna kind of do it to view. I'm just gonna I tend to kind of do it like this. Kind of sprinkle it up and it kind of gives it a little bit more an even coating. This could be for your eggs or whatever. gonna put that in there. And again, for like seasoning salt or any kind of salt, I just tend to kind of put a good amount in here.
Yum.
And we just kind of evenly coat it like that. And it should be good going. And we're just gonna mix that all in there. And we're gonna let that come to a simmer. And it should taste quite wonderful. In the end, that's nice. And I'm going to turn up my heat. And then this is approximately going to take you about 10 or so minutes, as far as I understand, just for all that macaroni to kind of soak up that sauce that we're creating there. And that's going to be that. And I'm actually going to even put my very, very floury lid on top of it. I'm just going to wipe that off.
Okay,
You
I have a
did see
quick
that.
question.
Go for it.
Okay, I think I added too much noodles and I don't have any more milk. So my noodles are almost cooked, but what could I put like other than water just to make my noodles a little bit more cooked? Butter or?
Yeah, butter would work. I would say so.
I think it'd
Water
be
is
okay
fine,
to
too.
add a little bit water too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, just a little bit of
Oh, but
both.
it's so tasty. It's just not as the texture I'm looking for. It's super tasty though.
Yeah, if you're
Excellent.
looking for it to be a little bit more, I would just add some more water and maybe butter if you're adding some of that.
Okay, thank you.
I think it'll be, yeah, I think it'll be
Make me
okay
wish.
to have that extra water because you're going to be adding that cheese in there after. So that'll
Yeah,
give
and I
the little more creamy and stuff. And we're at 5:45 and a lot of the dishes have been completed. We've been looking at some of the pictures. In David's kitchen, we're bringing the macaroni up to a boil. So we may not have time to stir in the cheese, just so you know, but sounds like everybody's doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, I got about 10 more minutes until my stuff is all ready. But I can plug all our social media if our cameraman Chris wants to put the viewfinder a little bit bigger so I can read them as well. So our social media is Twitter. Our Twitter is FNFAOMB. Our Facebook is just First Nations Family Advocate. And then our Instagram is FNFAO. I would love for you guys to take photos of your Instagram worthy photos and just or your food there and send it to us. You can tag us as use our hashtag, which is food as medicine. We love seeing this stuff. If you have any workers that you're connected to, or even just want to add us or tag us in any of those social media platforms, you can, and we'd love to share them. One of my favorite things is kind of looking at everybody's recipes and kind of the hungry faces that they show. And that's just one of my favorite things about Thursday mornings is just seeing the awesome recipes that you guys cook the next day. And I'm just going to put that flour off to the side there. And I guess we don't have much things. We can check in with some families if we want. Or Karen, you have any insight you want to share?
I would definitely like to check in with the families, but I do want to say that we appreciate your comments about how the workshops have impacted your family, and let us know if you're learning new things or how your children are enjoying it. Let us know, because if we can keep going, we're seeking funding to try to keep going, and it's still up in the air, but having your feedback helps us to express the impact that the workshops are making.
Yeah, having those impact statements go a long way on applying for funding again for another round of Food as Medicine. Sorry, Karen, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries. I see your message, Savannah. Go ahead and do what you need to do. We're here. I was going to say, because we're winding down, we're getting to our last few weeks of our additional sessions that we're able to have, because we stretched our funding dollars so much, we were able to have a few extra bonus weeks. So we are winding down though. Oh, good. Phoebe has indicated that she's making fried chicken and she's going to use the grease from the fried chicken for her recipe, which is an amazing idea. We know that
Just getting
there's
at that
some
point.
families that don't eat pork, and that's totally cool as long as you can find something that will work. And yeah, that's one of the things that happens with boiling milk, right?
Yeah, I don't know sure
We've
if you
got a
caught
little
that.
bit of spillage and it's okay.
I'm not sure if anybody caught that, but I wasn't keeping on it, and the temperature got pretty hot, so the milk kind of tend to like flow up. I'm just gonna lower that temperature and kind of just keep it mixing. This is exactly where I kind of want it to be, so I can kind of, we're at that temperature where it can kind of bubble, but we're gonna just lower it just so it simmers more than anything else. But yeah, anyways, sorry to cut you off, Karen. I didn't mean.
No worries.
Just gonna make sure I clean that up properly after.
So yeah, make sure you renew your interest for next week. We're making my favorite meal, breakfast for dinner.
Ooh, that's my
So-
favorite. That's my specialty. That's my jam. I love me some breakfast.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have one more question.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Since you guys are winding down, I'm just not familiar with the shredded cheese. So when does that go in? Because I saw some people have it in a baking dish. Or do I put it with the milk? Or do I put it and the
So
noodles are done?
once you have your macaroni kind of all soft and tender the way you like it, you literally just rip her open and just kind of dump the whole thing in there, and you just mix it all up. I'm not too sure how far we'll get into
Okay,
the episode
perfect.
today. I'm sure
Yeah,
we'll catch
it's
it
on
at the
step
tail end.
8.
Yeah, step 8, which is just literally just lowering the heat to low and then stirring in the cheese, and you're just going to kind of getting it to that nice consistency. It's going to be a little bit thicker. But again, if it's getting too thick, you just add a little bit of water or butter, and that'll definitely help it. Does that help answer your question? I'm going to guess so.
Yes, thank you. Be good.
All right, awesome. I'm glad you're here today. I'm glad to see some new faces.
Someone had asked where they can send feedback. I'm posting my email in the chat, but if you even reply to the email where you get your Zoom link and your recipe with your photos, we'll be able to access your feedback there as well.
And then if all the social, again, like my cameraman is pestering me a little bit. Social media is the way to go too. Not particularly like writing mean statuses about us, but like if you want to privately message us or tweet at us like, hey, I wanted to talk to you guys about some food as medicine details, you could also do that. If you're connected to a worker, you can ask them to connect them to me or anybody else related to the food as medicine team. We can get some feedback there. You can tell me once the show's over and we're connected and it's just a few of us left over, or you can drop it in the chat as well. But if it's a little bit more constructive feedback or just a lot more like in detailed or anything that we're doing that we need to shape up, let me know. And then we can do that a little bit more privately as well.
And that's actually how we had noticed that we had missed the cheese in the bags, was from participants reaching out and asking, where's the cheese? So then we were able to correct that mistake, because there are a lot of moving parts to our food as medicine crew. A lot of people doing shopping, packing, organizing the recipe, setting up the studio, making the deliveries. So pardon our mistake. We certainly didn't mean to omit that.
Yeah, that's something. And there's, for those who kind of know who reached out to me and some other staff, again, like, thank you. That was like, that would have been a little bit of a tiny disaster if we didn't have the main ingredient to this mac and cheese. The second half to the mac and cheese recipe. Yeah, just be mac. Onion, mac and onion and garlic.
Oh my.
But yeah, again, like it just makes me really happy that you guys are showing up and just so well connected and have a lot of feedback and everything like that. And it's just good to see you guys every week. And yeah, I don't know. There's not much else to say. We're kind of closing up on time. Did anybody else have any questions? Actually, I'm just gonna go formally out and say it. So the last part, we're just in our last part here, which it would be just adding our cheese. So essentially, like I said earlier, you're just ripping this open, dropping the whole bag if you want. You could do half the bag, whatever you feel like. We're gonna get a nice consistency.
That would be funny.
Oh, hello, what's up? Oh, no, they're muted again. No worries. Anyways, we're just going back into it. Like right now, my bacon's cooked. My mac and cheese is almost done. The main thing we need to really get done is just putting this in there. And then we're just going to be stirring that up. And you're going to probably sprinkle a bit, stir, sprinkle a bit, stir, sprinkle a bit, and stir. And if you want, you can add your bacon, half of your bacon in there now to kind of get that bacon flavor, but that grease will help with that. And if not, again, we're just going to be switching over. And then at the end, you can either put it into the stove with some breadcrumbs on the top there, just kind of sprinkle them on, or you can just sprinkle on the leftover bacon there and kind of just call it there and eat it there. You'll know when it's done. It looks wonderful and great. And again, if you have any questions, this is the time to ask them.
Oh, I see Savannah has her hand up.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for the flour and everything to thicken, right?
Yeah, you're just waiting for well your sauce and everything like that. Once you put your macaroni in there, you're just waiting for that to fully cook.
So you have the flour in the bacon grease and then you've added the water?
Yes, and the milk.
And the milk?
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put your macaroni in.
Okay.
Yeah, macaroni,
And then-
your vegetables, all your onion powder, anything like that, all your seasonings, just toss them in there and let that stuff cook all together. And once it's all soft and kind of and pretty like ready to eat almost, like you add your cheese right there at the end. You just make sure you stir it up well, and you can add some bacon in there as well towards the end. But yeah, it's quite simple. But if you need some extra steps or extra help, do reach out. I'm going to be here while this cooks, and I can kind of just guide you out through there. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird week back, and this is just kind of a slower recipe for sure. Mine's just simmering right now, and I think it's almost at that point where I'd add some cheese, and I'm going to double check that. Maybe you can see me put some in before we end things off today. Oh yeah, it's right at that point, I think.
It looks like it's absorbed a lot of the milk and the water, so that looks amazing.
I'm just gonna put my my glass top here away. Just gonna put it on a surface that won't ruin it, and we're just gonna add in our cheese. So this is exactly where I want it to be. Just touching one of the macaronis here. It's not hard. Exactly where I want to be. If we're working in a professional kitchen or working for anybody else, yeah, doing a quick taste test like that is probably not okay. But since it's just going to be cooked for myself, we're going to kind of overlook that today. Oh, we just have a little bit of flour. And while that's kind of simmering, we're just going to add in that last bit of cheese here. Again, we're just sprinkling it on top. Get a nice layer in. I'll put that off to the side, away from hot elements, and we're just going to mix that all in. And that could be Parmesan, it could be anything. Right there. And just like I was saying, I'm just going to add another layer. And add a generous amount if you like. Actually, I'm just going to toss a whole bag in. Let's go for that. I'm going to put this off to the side. We're just going to mix this up, and then because it's on that lower heat there, it's going to mix nicely. And I do have a second bag of cheese here, and I'm just going to quickly add that once this is all mixed nicely. And now that it's kind of mixing in with that sauce, it's starting to look kind of like more like actual homemade cheese, mac and cheese.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And then we're just gonna add some of that bacon here.
Yum.
We're gonna sprinkle a lot of it here. It's very crumbly and yummy. I'm gonna get that some of that flavor in there. Take us to Flavor Town. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Guy Fieri is gonna come after me. I'm just gonna mix that in, and I'll be right back. And I'm gonna grab some of that other cheese, the Parmesan. We're just gonna mix that in there as well. Again, just give her all of it. And because I have some leftover cheese from one of our taco recipes that we did previously, let's toss that in there too. It'll
Nice.
be extra cheesy. I'm gonna have a nice lunch tomorrow too. And we're just gonna mix that nicely. Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure if you could hear that from my cameraman Chris, but he just said, with mac and cheese, there's no such thing as too much cheese. Oop, we just lost this. I'm just gonna throw that into the dirty bin. We're just gonna mix that in real nicely. And from here, depending on where you want to be with your recipe, you can preheat your oven to something like 350 degrees.
Broil.
Add some on broil, or that could be an option too. At home, my oven doesn't do that. And you want to put some of that breadcrumbs on top, and then that's going to just give it that extra crunch. And we're just going to add some more bacon here. And otherwise, I feel really confident leaving you guys off. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask before I leave. And yeah, it's looking pretty nice. Maybe I'll bring it over to the overhead camera. Ooh, see how thick that is too?
Wow, that looks amazing.
I know, I'm starving, and this is gonna be so yummy. And I'm just gonna bring that over to our overhead camera. Cameraman Chris, did you want to switch over to the overhead?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to show you that ours is done. Say that.
We want to.
Oh yeah, you want to show it?
Ours is done.
I'd love
now
to see it.
push your camera. Push your camera. Yep. And then show them.
Where are you?
Oh,
There they are.
wow.
Thank you, Ashley. That looks wonderful. Yum.
Wow, that looks so yummy.
Okay, bye-bye.
Give you guys a round of applause. Ooh,
Thanks so much, everyone. That looks terrific.
it does. Anybody else to show off? If not, we can call it a night. Again, do check out some of our programming. We do have a lot going on at our office. We have wonderful workers. If you have anybody else needing support with CFS issues, please have them reach out to our office so we can support them as well. Our website is First Nations Family Advocate. You can find out where we are and kind of all our contact information or how to get connected with us there. It does also have a lot of insight on some of the programs that we offer, and as well, we do have a lot of wellness programs. We have men's wellness, women's wellness. I think we have traditional parenting as well. We have quite a bit going on in our office, and please do not hesitate to come reach out. Even if you've done some of these programs yourself, it's just a good fresher upper. And again, it's just for the kids, right? And with that, I guess, I wish you all have a great night and a great supper, and I hope you have some great family time, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for joining. Make sure to renew your interest for next week.
Reach out to us, and if you want to be a part of next week's course. And that's again, breakfast for dinner. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.